Well, let me welcome our friends and colleagues from Morocco here to the Benjamin Franklin room on the 8th floor of the State Department for this very important first session of the U.S.-Morocco Strategic Dialogue. Before I begin to address the significance of this strategic dialogue and the next step in our long relations with Morocco, I want to say a few words about the events unfolding in the world today. America's commitment to religious tolerance goes back to the very beginning of our nation. And as you know, we are home to people of all religions, many of whom came to this country seeking the right to exercise their own religion, including, of course, millions of Muslims. And we have the greatest respect for people of faith. Violence, we believe, has no place in religion and is no way to honor religion. Islam, like other religions, respects the fundamental dignity of human beings. And it is a violation of that fundamental dignity to wage attacks on innocents. As long as there are those who are willing to shed blood and take innocent life in the name of religion, the name of God, the world will never know a true and lasting peace. Now, I know it is hard for some people to understand why the United States cannot or does not just prevent these kinds of reprehensible events from ever seeing the light of day. Now, I would note that in today's world, with today's technologies, that is impossible. But even if it were possible, our country does have a long tradition of free expression, which is enshrined
in our Constitution
and our law. We do not stop individual citizens from expressing their views, no matter how distasteful they may be. There are, of course, different views around the world about the outer limits of free speech and free expression.
But there should be no debate about the simple proposition that violence in response to speech is not acceptable.
We all, whether we are leaders in government, leaders in civil society, or religious leaders,
must draw the line at violence.
And any responsible leader should be standing up now and drawing that line. I wanted to begin with this statement because, as our Moroccan friends and all of you know, this has been a difficult week at the State Department. I very much appreciate, Minister, the condolences your government expressed to our embassy in Rabat. And even though that tragedy happened far away in Benghazi, we found a reminder of the deep bonds that connect Morocco to the United States. No country has been a friend of the United States longer than Morocco.
You were the first nation to recognize us back in 1777.
So in the memory of fallen friends and colleagues, let us remind ourselves of the many ways in which not just our governments, but the people of our two nations have worked together to build a better future.
Because they ain't told these people that they're Moors, but he's appealing to the rest of the world. Why? Because Ben Franklin was a minister plenipotentiary under Muhammad, Sultan of Morocco, when the treaty was set up and the ordinance of 1787 before the adoption of the Constitution for setting up this government, which is not under what? Christian law. It is Muslim law. Islam. Now, this is why Obama went to Hikupta, which is Egypt, which you call Egypt, but ain't Egypt. It's Hikupta.
Also no civilization's debt to Islam. It was Islam at places like Uluzada that carried the light of learning through so many centuries, paving the way for Europe's Renaissance and Enlightenment.
Now, when it comes to Islam and Muslim, it's really science, but if you're in a slave-set mindset, or if you're in your servitude, if you rather be a servant than be a lord, of the land than create more leaders, and you rather just be somebody else's servant because it's easier to blame somebody else for your own failure. So you rather be a servant, or you rather, you be a slave or a flunky, all those nice synonyms for, ward of the state, citizen, slave. You could become a national, you could become a lord and create more leaders and reclaim the land. But listen here, man. You see what she did here? Did you listen to what she said? Did you need to hear it again? Play it back if you need to hear it again. Look how she honors these flags. 3 flags for the Trinity: the mind, the body, the spirit. So, she got to respect all of them. It's the science. So, there you go. Now, if they respect it, and you respect them and they piss all over you, why shouldn't you respect it? Because some people do respect them and they just piss all over them. Like politicians, the politics that suck on society, the politics that suck on society today, like they piss all over you, but they respect the shit out of me, my land, because I am a Moor. I fucked up. But the Moor, they fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So people say Moorish. Some people we say we're Moorish, then we might say we're Moor. But some people when you throw that part that we enslaved the Caucasian race in there, people are, oh no, I'm Moorish. I'm like a Moor. Like you got Jewish. They're not the Jews, but they're like the Jews. They got the ish, the Moorish. I'm like a Moor because you want that fact that you took the Caucasian, you had either experimented with the dog, got a whole nother race, and instead of teaching it and putting it on the same level, you wanted to push religion on it. The Moors went against their own principles, and they end the infighting. You hear the people speak, oh, we're not all the Moors, because the Moors were attacking us. They're speaking of the infighting, you stupid motherfuckers. That was the infighting of the Moors. And after the infighting, we were such great warriors. You seen good warriors, it's a fucking draw. I'ma stab you, you go stab me, we all gonna bleed out. And who was there? The slaves they got out of it where the fuck they were servitude, and they walked up like, oh shit. These niggas really was warriors. Yo, we could it's a lot more of us right now than there are of them. And we got some of them on our side because some of them feel bad. We got those vegans on our side. They feel bad about us. How the way they treat us. We got those liberals. Your law, your republic, it all comes from the Moors. It's all Moor science. The infighting of the Moors brought you what you got today. The Moors enslaved the Caucasian, the Congozoid, whatever you want to call it. We all come from the same thing. If you are enlightened and if you are conscious, you know this. God is all and all is God. So if you hate one, then you hate God. And religion will teach you to hate one just because they don't like your God. But God is all and God is one. And God is all. And if God is all powerful, and people teach you to say God, I like to say Gra, the great astonishing. The great astonishing. Because if you look up God, it goes back to Hebrew, him, and it goes back to a whole dude. So let's just say the great astonishing. This fucking spiritual pressure that everything just spins from. It's like the golden ratio, the golden ratio. What some scientists claim to be the gratitude of God, but let's slap that God thing because we're not gonna put some dude Elohim over anything, and we're gonna put the great astonishing, Gra. It's astonishing and it's great, or you could call it the ultimate astonishing, whatever. It's like God is everything and all is God. So if you hate one, you hate all. So if you are racist and you're in a race you're racist. So if you're pro-race, you're a professional racist. So if you hate one, you hate all. You hate God, so don't hate nobody. Unity. Divide and conquer is among us. It is obvious. Let's get together. The Cancer Act, or the Cures All Act, don't just block the cures from one specific complexion, it blocks the cure from all complexions. Let's get this shit together.